The rural village of Greystone lay quiet under a moonlit sky, its tranquility abruptly shattered by a low-frequency hum. Captain Aidan Stone, recently retired and now a civilian strategist, was jolted awake by the sound, the familiar roar of his old military instincts flaring up. From his porch, he stared at the dark silhouette of an alien spacecraft descending over the fields, its sleek, silver hull glinting ominously in the moonlight. Stone grabbed his radio, his fingers moving with practiced precision. "Command, this is Captain Stone. We've got an unidentified craft landing in Greystone. Request immediate assistance." As he spoke, Dr. Emily Harper, the renowned astrophysicist, arrived at the scene, her face illuminated by the craft's eerie glow. Her eyes, wide with both fear and fascination, scanned the alien vessel. "This is incredible," she murmured, her voice trembling slightly. "The design, it's unlike anything we've ever seen." Lieutenant Marco Reyes, Stone's young and eager assistant, burst onto the scene, breathless and wide-eyed. "Captain, what's the plan?" he asked, his excitement barely contained. His youthful enthusiasm was a stark contrast to Stone's steely calm. "We don't have much time," Stone replied, his voice steady. "The craft's landing has caused an immediate security breach. We need to secure the area and figure out their intentions." The spacecraft's ramp descended with a hiss, revealing a squad of alien hunters clad in black exosuits. Their movements were precise and calculated, an unsettling blend of grace and menace. The villagers, huddled in their homes, peeked through windows, their faces pale with fear. Harper, adjusting her glasses, whispered, "If they're using advanced technology, they might be here for more than just a visit. We need to understand their capabilities before we can respond effectively." As the aliens began their survey, Stone's tactical mind raced. "Lieutenant, organize the villagers into a secure location. Dr. Harper, I need you to analyze any data you can retrieve from their technology. We're outgunned but not outwitted." Reyes, nodding briskly, rallied the villagers with a mix of authority and reassurance. His youth and determination made him a natural leader in the crisis. "Everyone, this way! We need to get to the safe zone." The first contact was abrupt. The aliens, seemingly indifferent to the human presence, began deploying scanning devices. Stone's gaze followed them, his mind calculating their potential weaknesses. "We need to find a way to turn their tech against them or at least slow them down," he said, more to himself than to anyone else. Harper's eyes narrowed as she examined the scanner's readout on a portable device. "These readings, they're sophisticated but not invincible. If we can disrupt their communication, it might buy us some time." The hum of the alien ship grew louder, reverberating through the village. Stone's thoughts were interrupted by the sudden appearance of an alien emissary, who spoke in a language that crackled with static through a translator device. "Humans, surrender or face extermination." Stone's jaw tightened. "We'll have to fight for every inch," he muttered, determination hardening his features. He turned to Harper and Reyes, his voice resolute. "Prepare for the worst. We're going to make sure they regret ever setting foot on our world." As the first energy pulse from the alien ship sliced through the night sky, Stone, Harper, and Reyes prepared for the conflict ahead. The air was thick with tension, the fate of Greystone hanging precariously in the balance. The night grew colder as the alien spacecraft loomed over Greystone, its imposing shadow stretching across the village. Captain Aidan Stone's breath misted in the chilly air as he gathered his team for a hurried strategy session in the village's community hall. Dr. Emily Harper, her face illuminated by the dim light of a generator, was furiously typing into her tablet, attempting to decode the alien technology's signal. Lieutenant Marco Reyes burst through the door, his uniform disheveled but his eyes sharp with determination. "Captain, we've got movement. Some of the locals are organizing themselves into a makeshift defense. They're calling themselves the Resistance." Stone raised an eyebrow. "The Resistance? They've got guts, I'll give them that. But are they equipped to handle these aliens?" Reyes shrugged. "They've got knowledge of the terrain and guerrilla tactics. It might be worth a try to team up with them." Stone's gaze shifted to Harper, who was now analyzing a stream of alien data. Dr. Harper, how's it looking on your end? Harper looked up, her expression tense. The aliens are using encrypted communication channels. It's complex, but I'm starting to find patterns. If we can disrupt their signal, we might be able to create some confusion. Good, Stone replied, turning his attention back to Reyes. Let's meet these resistance fighters. We need every advantage we can get. The resistance hideout was hidden beneath the village's old mill, accessible only through a series of concealed tunnels. As Stone and Reyes descended into the underground base, they were greeted by a group of rugged individuals, their faces marked by both resolve and the weariness of constant vigilance. A grizzled man with a weathered face stepped forward. I'm Gregor. You must be Captain Stone. We've heard about your efforts. Stone nodded. And you're the ones who've been preparing for this kind of invasion? Gregor chuckled dryly. We've been ready for something, though we didn't expect it to be this advanced. We've got a few surprises of our own. Harper joined them, clutching her tablet. If we're going to work together, we need to coordinate. I've been able to pinpoint a few weaknesses in their technology. We can use that to our advantage. Gregor raised an eyebrow. You've got tech that can jam their communications? Harper nodded. It's not perfect, but it should create enough interference to disrupt their operations temporarily. Gregor turned to his fighters. Prepare for a joint operation. We'll hit them where it hurts and use the distraction to get a better handle on their tech. The makeshift briefing was interrupted by a sudden, violent shake of the ground. An explosion echoed from the direction of the village. The group rushed outside, where the alien craft had unleashed a barrage of energy beams, creating chaos among the villagers. Stone's eyes narrowed as he surveyed the scene. They're pushing hard. We need to act quickly. Harper, are you ready with the jamming device? Harper nodded vigorously. Just a few more minutes. Reyes, his face set with determination, rallied the resistance fighters. We need to move. Stick to the plan and keep your heads down. The resistance fighters, armed with improvised weapons and a deep knowledge of their surroundings, took to the field. Stone, Harper, and Reyes moved to a vantage point overlooking the village, ready to coordinate the counterattack. As the alien beams continued their relentless assault, Stone's voice cut through the chaos. This is our chance. Let's show them what humanity is made of. The first phase of the attack began with a blinding flash as Harper's device activated. The alien communication scrambled, causing confusion among their ranks. The resistance fighters seized the opportunity, launching a series of ambushes that temporarily halted the alien advance. The battle was far from over, but the tide had begun to shift. Stone watched as the resistance fighters fought with renewed vigor, their efforts now bolstered by the strategic advantage of disrupted alien communications. The night air crackled with the sounds of combat, the village's fate hanging in the balance. As the skirmish raged on, Stone's resolve hardened. The aliens had underestimated the spirit of humanity, and he was determined to ensure they wouldn't make that mistake again. The night air was thick with the acrid scent of smoke as the battle for Greystone intensified. The alien spacecraft hovered ominously above, its beams of energy slicing through the darkness. Captain Aidan Stone, now stationed atop a makeshift command center, surveyed the chaos below with a grim expression. The resistance fighters, despite their valiant efforts, were being pushed back by the superior firepower of their alien adversaries. Dr. Emily Harper, her hands trembling but determined, adjusted the jamming device's settings. The interference is holding, but it won't last much longer. We need a plan to exploit their vulnerability while we still can. Stone's eyes flicked to the field, where Lieutenant Marco Reyes was coordinating the scattered resistance units. Reyes, amidst the fray, shouted orders with a fierce intensity, his youthful face set in a mask of grim determination. Hold the line! Push them back to the perimeter! The alien forces were relentless. Their advanced weapons cut through the village defenses, and the resistance's attempts to counterattack seemed futile against the relentless onslaught. Stone's heart raced as he saw a group of villagers struggling to evacuate under fire. He turned to Harper, his voice urgent. We need to find a way to turn the tide, or we'll lose everything. Harper, her brow furrowed in concentration, said, "I've identified a potential weak spot in their ship's power core. If we can hit it, we might disrupt their systems long enough to gain the upper hand." Stone nodded, taking in the information. "How do we reach it?" "It's heavily guarded," Harper replied. "But if we can create a diversion, we might be able to get close enough." Stone's gaze met Reyes, who had just returned, breathless but resolute. "Lieutenant, can we stage a diversion? Something that will draw their focus away from the core?" Reyes nodded, a determined glint in his eye. "We can rig a few of our old munitions to create a massive explosion. It should draw their attention." "Do it," Stone ordered. "Harper, prepare the equipment for the attack. We're going to need precise timing." As Reyes and his team moved to rig the munitions, Stone and Harper took position near the outskirts of the village. The alien forces were becoming increasingly aggressive, their movements more frantic as they struggled to deal with the ongoing interference. The makeshift explosives were set. Reyes, returning to the command center, gave Stone a final nod. "Ready when you are." Stone took a deep breath, his eyes fixed on the alien ship. "On my mark." The countdown began, each second feeling like an eternity. As the diversionary explosions erupted with a thunderous roar, the aliens' focus shifted, their troops scrambling to respond to the new threat. The opportunity was now. Harper, carrying a compact but powerful device designed to breach the alien ship's defenses, moved swiftly towards the ship's exposed side. Stone covered her advance, his rifle steady as he took out enemy combatants who tried to impede their progress. The noise of battle was deafening, but Stone's focus was razor-sharp. Harper's device, a blend of human ingenuity and alien technology, began its work on the power core. Sparks flew as the device interfaced with the alien systems, its humming sound mixing with the distant sounds of the ongoing conflict. "Almost there," Harper shouted over the cacophony. "Just a few more seconds." As the device completed its task, a series of cascading failures rippled through the alien ship. The once stable hovercraft shuddered and wobbled, its energy beams faltering. The tide was shifting. Stone, seeing the effect of their efforts, called out to Reyes through the radio. "The diversion worked. Push forward. We need to press this advantage before they can recover." Reyes's voice crackled back with determination. "Understood. All units, advance!" The resistance fighters surged forward, their renewed energy driving them to take the fight to the aliens with a fervor born from desperation and hope. The village's defenders, though battered, now had a fighting chance. As the battle continued, the first signs of victory began to emerge. Stone, Harper, and Reyes, exhausted but resolute, could see the glimmers of hope piercing through the darkness. The alien forces, disoriented and struggling, were on the defensive. In the midst of the case, Stone allowed himself a brief moment of cautious optimism. The night was still fraught with danger, but humanity's resolve had begun to turn the tide. The real fight was far from over, but for the first time, victory seemed within reach. The first light of dawn filtered through the smoke and debris that had enveloped Greystone. The once silent village now thrummed with a renewed energy as Captain Aidan Stone and his team surveyed the aftermath of the fierce battle. The alien ship, still smoldering from the earlier attack, loomed in the background, its once threatening silhouette now reduced to a crumpled husk. Stone, his face etched with exhaustion but resolute, walked through the wreckage toward the makeshift command center. Beside him, Dr. Emily Harper was scanning the area with a mix of relief and fatigue. "The jamming device worked better than expected," she said, her voice hoarse but triumphant. "We've disrupted their communication network and weakened their defenses significantly." Lieutenant Marco Reyes, still brimming with the adrenaline of the fight, approached them. "Captain, the resistance is regrouping. We've managed to push the remaining alien forces back. They're retreating to their ship." Stone nodded, the weight of the battle slowly lifting from his shoulders. "Good. Let's ensure they don't recover. We need to finish this." Reyes's eyes shone with determination. "We've set up charges around the ship's base. Once we're clear, we can detonate them to ensure the aliens can't just repair and come back." Harper adjusted her glasses, peering at the alien vessel with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. It's incredible how quickly they adapted to our strategies. But their technology isn't infallible. We've exploited their weaknesses effectively. The sound of approaching footsteps interrupted them. Gregor, the grizzled leader of the resistance, emerged from the shadows, his face smeared with dirt and sweat but marked by a proud grin. "I didn't think we'd see the sunrise," he said, extending a grimy hand to Stone. "You and your team fought like demons. We've saved our home." Stone shook Gregor's hand firmly. "It was a team effort. Your fighters showed incredible bravery. But we're not done yet." Gregor's expression grew serious. "The aliens are still trying to regroup. They won't give up easily. We need to make sure this is the end of their invasion." Stone nodded. "I agree. Let's finalize our plans and make sure they can't launch a counterattack." As the sun rose higher, casting a golden hue over the battlefield, Stone, Harper, and Reyes moved to the base of the alien ship. The resistance fighters worked with precision, placing the last of the charges and securing the perimeter. Harper's eyes flickered with apprehension. "We've only got one shot at this. If the timing is off, the ship could be salvageable." Stone glanced at her, his face set in determined lines. "We've come too far to fail now. Let's make sure this counts." With the final preparations in place, Stone and Reyes joined Harper as they prepared to detonate the charges. The tension was palpable as the countdown began, each second stretching into an eternity. The explosion, when it came, was a blinding, thunderous roar. The alien ship erupted in a brilliant cascade of flames and debris, the remnants scattering across the field. The resistance fighters cheered, their voices rising in victorious triumph. Stone, watching the destruction of the alien vessel, felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The battle had been grueling, but humanity had prevailed. He turned to Harper and Reyes, his voice filled with pride. "We did it. Greystone is safe." Harper, her exhaustion momentarily forgotten, smiled. "It was a hard fight, but we've shown that we can stand against any threat." Reyes, looking out at the cheering villagers, added, "We've proven that even against overwhelming odds, we can come together and protect what matters." As the sun continued to rise, casting a warm light over the village, Stone allowed himself a rare moment of relaxation. The fight was over, and humanity had emerged victorious. The scars of battle would remain, but so too would the memory of their resilience and unity. The dawn of triumph was not just the end of the battle, but the beginning of a new era of hope and determination. Greystone had faced its darkest hour and emerged stronger, a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people.